You're getting interviews, but you're not getting offers. This tells me that there's a lack of clarity. Again, you're unclear about what you want. Your interview answers are typically inconsistent. So what I've noticed, and they lack conviction. That's the other thing. What I notice is that when people go into interviews and they lack clarity, they haven't created what I call your career stories. And what I build with my clients when we get into the interviewing process is we build a toolbox of your career stories. And those 5 to 7 career stories can be used throughout answering almost any question in the interview. Let's get into the top 5 ways that I see lack of clarity showing up in your job search. So get your pens and papers out and your notebooks and let's go to school, you guys. All right. So the first way that I noticed, and this happens to a lot of people before we start to work together, is that they're not getting any interviews. The first way that lack of clarity can show up for you is that you're applying to jobs. We'll make that a second one, where you're applying to jobs, but you're not getting any interviews. I see on LinkedIn daily where people say that they've applied to 50, 100, 200, even 1,000. I've seen people say that they've applied to 1,000 jobs and they're not getting not one single interview. They've gotten a goose egg of interviews. And what this signals to me is there is a lack of clarity in what they're looking for. So without clear direction, your resume, your LinkedIn profile, your cover letter, they may lack focus. And the other thing is they lack relevance. Like, how is the role that you're applying for? How is that relevant? Where is that content in your resume? So I think sometimes people leave out because our resumes are only typically 1, 2, 3 pages max, right? For the average person. And so trying to condense all of that into 2 pages on average can be a lot. But if you are very clear on what it is you want to do, who you want to do it for, the job title, the industry, the size of the company, when you're very clear on all those things, then it should be a lot easier for you to communicate that and condense that into your resume. But for those folks who are keeping their search open, those folks who are wanting to cast a wide open net when it comes to their job search, and they're applying to any and everything, they're applying to a lot of those things and they're not getting any interviews. Because what I see people doing is they're applying to a variety of unrelated roles without tailoring their resume, without tailoring their cover letters to specific jobs. And that's leading to no interviews. Okay. That's number 1. No interviews. You're not getting any interviews. So you are in the job searching process and you find yourself applying to 50 or 100 jobs and you haven't gotten any interviews. It's probably because you're not clear on what it is you want to do. My second point is that you're applying to too many jobs. Not too many, right? You're applying to 50, 100, 150, 200 jobs. And the reason why I say that if you're applying to too many jobs and you have not gotten any interviews or you have not gotten any offers, then you may not have clarity is because in one given day, you typically don't see 50 or 100, even in a month span of time, do I see 50 or 100 or 150 jobs that I'm interested in or that my clients are interested in by filtering out what we have decided as their ideal opportunity. So that means that you've gone through and you said, hey, this is what I'm looking for. These are my non-negotiables. These are my professional values. This is what I'm looking for in a company. I'm looking to work within a pharmaceutical company, X, Y, and Z. You're very specific about the roles you're looking for, that the job title, the industry, etc. Right? You're very clear about what that looks like. And then you go out to a job board. You're not going to see 50 operation manager positions within a pharmaceutical company listed out on Indeed, Monster, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, etc. Even if you looked at all of those, the ladder, including all of those 5 different job boards, I still won't come across 50 jobs in a month, or even probably in a 3-month span. I still won't come across 50 operation manager roles within pharmaceuticals, or say we add in another industry, pharmaceuticals and healthcare, right? You're probably still not going to, and you can get deeper and delve deeper down into that. You can say fintech, right? I'm not going to find 50 of those jobs. So you're applying to too many jobs. Lets me know that you don't have clarity about the 1 or 2 roles that you're actually interested in. So when I work with my clients, the first 2 weeks leading into the 3rd and 4th week, we work together for 12 weeks. Let's start there. And in the first week, we're getting clear. The first 2 weeks, we're getting clear about their values, their non-negotiables, the impact you want to make within the organization, the development, personal and professional, that you want to have within an organization, the environment that you're seeking to work in, the level of autonomy and control within the organization that you need in order to do your best work, the type of leadership that you work best with, the type of relationships you want to have with your colleagues, coworkers, and managers. So we're getting clear on all of those things, right? And so before you can even start to apply for jobs, you have to get clear on what you're looking for. And so when people tell me that they're applying to 50, 100, 150 jobs, I'm like, and inside of that, we're also saying, I want to work for a large Fortune 500. I want to work for a medium. I want to work for small. I want to work for a startup. When you're that clear on the industry you want to work in, the size of the company or operation wise, etc., right? You get very granular and we start to drill down there. There aren't 50, 100, and 150 of those out there at any given time. When someone says that to me, I know that they don't have clarity. So that's number 2, too many jobs. Number 3 is you're getting interviews, but you're not getting offers. You're getting interviews, but you're not getting offers. This tells me that there's a lack of clarity. Again, you're unclear about what you want. Your interview answers are typically inconsistent. So what I've noticed, and they lack conviction. That's the other thing. What I notice is that when people go into interviews and they lack clarity, they haven't created what I call your career stories. And what I build with my clients when we get into the interviewing process is we build a toolbox of your career stories. And those 5 to 7 career stories can be used throughout answering almost any question in the interview. And when individuals have not gotten clear on what they want to do, they typically don't have career stories. So they're going off the fly with what they want to speak about and try to communicate in the interview. And there's inconsistency in each one of their interviews. Right? They can't pinpoint and go back and say, oh, I told this particular story when they asked me this question, because they're going on to YouTube and Googling top interview questions versus having because you are an expert, because you know what, you don't have to dig and search deep and wide for stories. You have those already because they're probably in your marketing collateral, your documents, your resume, your LinkedIn profile. You don't have to dig deep for those stories. You have to probably add context and content there, but you're not having to fish for those. Those stories are a part of your career already. We just have to figure out how you want to convey and communicate those with any interview. So a lot of times it leads you to not be, and I tell people this all the time, you don't have to be the best candidate for the position, but you do need to be able to sell and market yourself in the interview. And if you are not clear on what it is you want to do, then you have difficulties selling and marketing yourself in interviews. And this is why you're not getting the offers, why you may be getting the interviews, but the offers are not coming to you. So that's 3. Let me know right now, 1, 2, or 3. Are any of those reasons resonating with you? Are you applying to too many jobs? Are you not getting interviews? Are you getting interviews but no offers? Does any of those resonate? The 4th thing I see is a difficulty when it comes to networking. And what I mean by this is that people say, man, I've reached out to my network and that's not working either. So they're applying to jobs online. They've reached out to their network. They're on LinkedIn. They're doing all these things and they're like, I'm not seeing any movement. And so I ask questions like, well, tell me, what are you asking your network? How are those conversations going, etc.? And I get something typically around what I told them that, man, I'm open to anything. If your job has anything open, let me know. And what I say is all the time, and my clients know this, you're asking them to do the work for you. You're asking your network to work for you. And that's not what you want to do. When you are unsure about your career path, you may struggle to explain the type of role you're looking for. When you go to networking events, you have a hard problem or a hard time trying to convey what it is you're looking for someone to support you in that networking event. And what that leads to is a result of missed connections and missed opportunities. You miss out on key people within the industry because you don't even know what industry you want to go in. And I never tell my clients that we have to have one industry. I do say we can have 2, possibly 3 industries that you're looking to. Any more than that, you're not clear about what it is you want to do. And you're like, I'm open to whatever, and whoever gives me a call is where I will go. And that's not what you want to do. You do want to be able to niche down and niche network to people who are specific in those industries. And again, you reach out to someone on LinkedIn and you say, hey, here's my resume. If you know of anything, let me know. I get that at least once a week on LinkedIn. Here's my resume. If you know of anything open in IT, let me know. I know of a lot of things, but what is it that you want to do? You can't expect for your network to do the work. And so this is where a lot of times, again, if you aren't clear, you may be struggling. But when you get clear and you say, hey, you know what, I'm looking to go into pharmaceuticals or biomedical or you name it, right? When you can get that clear about the industry you want to go into, the role you want to go into, when you can say, hey, I'm looking to go into the renewable waste industry as a facilities manager or as an operations manager, etc. Like when you can get that clear, when you can get that granular, hey, I'm looking to go into food and beverage. I'm looking to go into healthcare, specifically around X. Then now your network can say, oh my God, like you can say there are how many companies, right? There are 5 or 10 or 50 companies that are in that industry. And then you can start to say, you know what? No, it's not that company. Now you can start to narrow down and niche down based on more specifics. But until you get there, you can't just say that you're open to any opportunities and, hey, whatever comes up, let me know. I'm available. No, because There's someone who's very specific, who knows that niche, who knows that organization, who knows that career, who knows what they want to do, who's available. Right? So you have to get clear about what it is you want to do. You have to get that clarity and say, I want to work for X industry doing X thing. Like, you have to know the impact within the organization that you want to make. The fifth thing that I wanted to say is, and it was hard for me to just narrow this down to 5 because I have 10 on my list, but I'll say that the fifth thing is, you end up taking a job that you don't want. You end up in a role that you don't want, and now you're looking to exit. A lot of times when people come to work with me, they have been in their role 6 months, 9 months, less than a year. I ask the question, well, you've only been in your job a year, why are you looking? Or less than a year, why are you looking? And they say to me, at the time, this was the only job I could find. And it really, when people say it's the only job that I could find, it takes you out of the driver's seat and it puts the organization in. And it's not the only job you could find. It may have been the only offer that you got. And so you felt like you had to take the position because you had no other offers at the time. So you took it, hoping that it would lead you down another road within the organization, or that you would find something else in the meantime. So you were using the job as a bridge job, right? So a lot of times people will do this. And in some cases, it is very understandable. If you are unemployed and you're like, I need a bridge job. I need a job now. I need a job, not a career. I'm not looking at this as a long-term relationship between me and this organization. This is very much short-term. I need to be able to put food on my table and clothes on the backs. I need to keep the lights on. So this is a bridge job until I find that one job. That is for people who are in a different bucket, of course, right? But for people who don't know what they want to do, but you apply to this job anyway, not knowing what you wanted to do, this is one of those, I'm just applying, I'm just clicking the button, and they come to you with an offer, which the offer was probably less than you desired, but you took it because you didn't have any other offers on the table. And now you're feeling taken advantage of. You feel overwhelmed, underpaid, unappreciated, all of those feelings because you took a job that you really didn't want in the first place. And now you're trying to see your way out. And so you've gotten into the organization. You realize that the role itself is not a good fit because, again, you were not clear about what you wanted. Because you were not clear about what you wanted, you took something not knowing what you were really getting yourself into. You did not ask good interview questions. You did not do the deep dive in the research that was needed in order for you to make a decision. This really boils down to when you are unclear about what it is you want to do, your decision making is also unclear. So you made a decision because you have lack of clarity. And you're hoping that you're going to get clear in the job. The job is going to be the thing that brings you clarity. Now, what the job probably did was let you know what you do not want to do. You're like, I don't want to be a data analyst. I don't want to be a business analyst. I don't want to do, and maybe it's one thing about the role you don't want to do. You're like, I spend 80% of my time doing this one thing that I don't like to do. And I spend 20% of my time doing these things that I like to do. And that's just unbalanced. So there are tasks and responsibilities within the role that you might not just enjoy doing, but you did not ask those questions in the interview, or you were hoping that something would change quickly for you as you got your foot in the door, right? So maybe you took it as a foot in the door opportunity. All these things come up. But they all go back to you having a lack of clarity. So now we have 5 reasons why you really need to get clear about what you want to do when it comes to your job search. And I think people take clarity, the lack of clarity is sometimes overlooked. Let me say it that way. Because I tell people all the time, and my tagline on LinkedIn used to be, and it still is as of right now, as of today, it is the career clarity coach, right? And people, and not to me per se, but I think that people overlook what clarity really means and how it really is the foundation of your job search. Like, my clients do not apply to jobs until we have gotten clear about where they want to work, who they want to work for, why they want to work there. There is so much work that needs to be done before you can even apply to a job. Because if not, what job are you applying for? You don't come to me as a career coach and say, I just want a job. But what impact are you looking to make in that role? What role are you seeking? What industry? What pay? What environment? What type of leader do you need to be able to do your job effectively? I'm going to ask you so many questions that we're going to start to get clear about what it is that you want to do. Because I tell people all the time, if you just want a job, McDonald's is hiring. You can drive Uber. You can drive Lyft. You could work at Chick-fil-A if you just want a job. But if you want a career, then you have to get clear. That is why you choose to work with a career coach. Not to help you find a job, but to help you get clear about what it is you want to do and to find a role that is going to be ideal for where you are at this point in your life. I don't work with people and I say, hey, this is going to be the last job and the only job you're ever going to need. No, because what you do at 45 is probably not the same thing you're doing at 35. And if it is, you're like, hey, I've been doing this for 10 years and now I'm ready to do something different. I'm ready for more role. I'm ready for more responsibility. I'm ready to get into a leadership role. I'm ready to have more impact. So when those people come to me, it's because they want to do more. If you are 25, with the role I had at 25 and the role I had at 30 was completely different because I was in a different place. Like, I wanted to have a different impact. I wanted to have more of a voice. I wanted to travel less than what I was traveling when I was 25. I was like, okay, it's time for me to start to settle down and I want to be home more and I want to be able to do these things. The person I was at 25 was like, I want to go. But at 30, I was like, okay, I want to slow down. And it may be different for you. Maybe you're like, hey, I'm an empty nester. My kids are off to college. And now I have more flexibility in my schedule. I can travel for work now. I can be that senior director. I can be that VP. All those things they are available to you. But we have to get clear about what it is that you want to do, who you want to do it for, and why you want to do it. Because you have to go into the interview being able to sell and market that. And when you can't, interviewers, good ones, can sense that. And we don't want you to get that close. I see people tons of times they get very close. They're in the final stages of the interview and then it falls between their fingers. And we have to look at why that's happening. And if that's happening multiple times, if you have had anywhere between 5 and 7 final interviews, and you're not getting through that finish line, it's probably because you lack clarity. And you don't have those career stories wrapped up real tight. You're missing something in the marketing and sales aspect of trying to market and sell yourself in the interview. You are not convincing. It's not that you're not the best person for the role. You probably are. But the best person is not always the person that gets the job. The best salesperson is the one who gets the job. The best marketer is the one who gets the job. But you can't market something that you don't know what you're marketing. Okay? So if this resonates with you, you need to schedule a call with me. We're going to just do a 30-minute intake call where we just get to know each other, and I get to learn more about your career and what it is that you want to do. And if you don't know what you want to do, that's what I'm here for, to ask you those questions. And we just want to see if it's a good fit for you and I to work together. If it is a good fit for you and I to work together, then we will work together privately, one-on-one, for 12 weeks. And I will walk you through that process. I will hold your hand through the process to make sure that you're applying to jobs that you truly actually want, that are a good fit for you, and you don't have to apply for 50 of them. Okay. Well, I will talk to you in the next episode of the podcast. Have a great and wonderful week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.